When I begin to channel, I make toning sounds and I kind of rock like this back and forth for whatever reason. That's what happens. And my hands move. And then Raphael comes in and Raphael will say hello. And when Raphael says hello, my son Casey is monitoring the call and he'll say hello back. And that's how Raphael connects with all of you. And when my hands move back and forth, that means that Raphael is scanning you energetically on the call and doing healing on you. So just be open to receiving some healing during the call itself, because Raphael is the angel of healing. And then when I finish the call, we'll call it a day. So I did want to just talk to you about something which I haven't mentioned so far. And that is that I am so excited about the fact that right now we are on the cusp of shifting the consciousness and stepping into something new. And it may not always feel that way. And Raphael always says that as we are going through some, turbulent times, to say the least, on the planet. But if any of you on the call feel like you've lived many lifetimes before during the time where we made a decision either to leap in consciousness or not, or feel like you are a light worker or a star seed and you resonate with that energy, I'm so excited. I'm conducting a class starting April 4th, and I've done, I don't know, hundreds of classes over the years, but I'm really excited about this because I feel like it is so pertinent to the time that we're living in, and to so many people who are on the planet right now who are part of a movement of raising the consciousness and bringing in the new earth. So if you feel connected to that, it's called the Star Seed Masterclass. I'm going to open it up to people on my Sunday calls before I do on Instagram or anything first. I'm going to send out an email today where you can read about it. And we're going to tap into the Atlantean vibration, the Lemurians, and the ancient Egyptians. And we're going to do a lot of ceremonies together. And we're going to channel every week, and it's just going to be filled with a lot of information, a lot of material. It's going to not start until April 4th, but I'm going to open up registration today. And if you want to get on that class, then I encourage you to read everything about it and learn about it and see if it resonates with you. All right, anything else that I want to mention? I think that's it. I'll send out that email right before the class ends so you can look for it. And I will send out a replay after the call. And for those of you who have made such beautiful generous donations to these calls, I greatly appreciate that. And it's a beautiful exchange of energy, and thank you. Okay, enough of all that. So let's get on to channeling. Here we go. Everybody want to just make sure, your phones are off and you're, if hopefully in a place where you can be centered and present where we are right now, so that you can tune into the frequencies of Raphael. We are very delighted to be here with all of you today, and we are loving the fact in which you are all wanting to talk about the angels, for that vibration obviously is of great importance to ours. And it is that we want to remind all of you that we love, love, love who it is that you are not alone at all, even if perhaps in the physical form right now you might be feeling a sense of loneliness or disconnection, and that we are here for you and are always here for you and shall remain here for you for an eternal amount of time. And it is that we want to move into your heart center as you are placing your hand on your heart. And we want you to say to yourself, if you're able, I love you, out loud. And perhaps you can add your name. I love you, Kelly. I love you. I love you. I love you. And we're wanting you to just start to feel some beautiful, warm, unconditional love moving into your heart center. I love you. I love you. And the reason in which we're wanting to talk about that is because love is the vibration that allows you to open up the space and create a deeper connection to the angelic realm. And it is that love for who it is that you are, for the essence of your being and for your soul is what opens up and expands the awareness and the deeper connection to who it is that we are from the space that you understand to be the angelic realm. And it is that we were speaking to all of you last week about your energetic fields and about cutting toxic cords and about how that you see the complexities of the physiology of the physical body, and yet the complexities and the beauty and the miraculous intertwining energies of light that move in and out and around and through you in your auric and energetic field are beyond perhaps your understanding or comprehension, because they cannot be seen from the naked eye of the human experience, but they are magnificent and beautiful. And although you have some energies that sometimes are hooked in or corded to others in which you may have a toxic or an entangled or a codependent or an addictive relationship with another that needs clearing and needs attention and needs love, you also have cords of energy that connect you to the masters, the ascended beings of light, the angels and the angelic realm, and the guides that came with you. And those cords can also be cloudy or toxic or be kind of filled with muck, in a sense, where the communication or the ability to feel, to hear, to sense, and to know our love for you can get stifled. So what we're wanting to do today is to support you in clearing that energy and opening that space so that you have more access to the divine vibrations of higher frequencies that are ultimately a part of who it is that you are. They actually are you. And even though it is that I come through this vessel, Kelly, to speak to all of you, and I come through many vessels all across the planet, and not only do I come as Archangel Raphael to be and to love and to hold and to care for you, so many beautiful beings of very high frequency based in love are continuously bombarding Mother Earth and each and every one of you to support you and to elevate your vibration and to support you in feeling that love, the love that you are, the love in which you came from, and the love in which you will return to. And so when you were a little boy or a little girl, you were often, many of you, very open in the sense that your cord and connection to source and to higher realms and to your pods of guides and ascended beings was much clearer. But often if you talked about, I had an imaginary friend, or I saw this mommy, or I saw that, or I felt this, or I heard that, it often was looked down upon or frowned upon as untrue and put aside, in which you very quickly learn that connecting to higher aspects of who you were was not necessarily not only appreciated or valued, but was looked down upon. And that the collective consciousness has looked down upon this for a very long, long period of time, because the things that they cannot see, things that they cannot touch, things that they cannot measure or evaluate, even through their instruments, which are so primitive in many respects. We don't want to be disrespectful, but the vibration in which the instruments that they have to measure frequency cannot even begin to expand to a place in which they can hold those higher frequencies to recognize that they are there. Then if they cannot measure, see, or touch it, it is somehow not true or valid. And it is that that entire linear paradigm and way of being and thinking is beginning to phase out, beginning to move away, beginning to dissolve as you are opening up to the possibility of expanding who it is you are, so that more of your highest aspect of self can begin to flood into and to merge with the physical human experience of who it is you are in the vessel of the body that you are in now. And so we want to talk to you for a moment at the moment of time where you were in that vast, beautiful, beautiful space of love. When you say, I love you, we are speaking of a love that is so expansive, so bright, and so beautiful that there isn't a word in your language to even begin to express it. But you were just being bathed in that love, just bathed in it, until there was a pulsation or a pull to choose to begin to solidify, to descend in a sense, and to move down through the spiral of dimensions until you chose to drop into the atmosphere or the toric field of the earth plane, and then eventually down and into the choice of your mother, the choice of the pod or the family in which you chose to incarnate with, and then to drop into that womb and to be able to descend through the birth canal and to come into the place in which you have called home and know to be true as of now, as the doorway was shut to the other parts of self. This was shut intentionally to allow you to operate through the experiment in a sense of free will and conscious choice, and to go through your journey of unfolding and learning and growing and expanding in a vessel that appeared to be separate. But now what's happening is that as the veil is thinning and as that doorway is becoming more and more open, as more and more beings are accessing higher aspects and frequencies of who they are, you have a greater capacity to harness, to connect, and to open not only the doorway to the higher realms, but to expand the cord that connects you to the highest part of self. Now, when you talk about the angelic realm, we want to try to explain simplify in very simple terms, and we don't want you to take this literally because it is extraordinarily complex in the way in which the universe operates, and yet it is extremely simple. But for this particular transmission of information, we want to talk to you in a sense about the dimensions. And as you were held in this space of love, and there was a pulsation to choose to come, you drop down further into a form in which there are other beings that are etheric. They do not have matter or form or density like a body like you do, but there are beings, and many of you call them the Council of Light, and it's a place in which a lot of the masters live, of very high frequency beings to support those who are choosing to incarnate. And you begin to discuss not only what your purpose is, why you're choosing to come to earth, what you're going to be doing, who your family is, and your journey and life lessons and all of that, but you are also assigned, in addition to that, an angelic team. Now, you can call that team an angel, you can call it a guide, you can call it a goddess or a god, you can call it an ascended master, whatever word you're wanting to use. And although there is some differentiation, we won't get into that, we could do that at another time. We can go into a whole class about that. But these beings basically are much higher frequency vibrations that are able to vibrate with the vibration of love. And are not operating from the place of polarity, but are in a unified consciousness. Now, the angelic realm, such as myself, have never descended into form, for I've never actually lived on earth, in the earth plane, having a physical incarnation as you are. But there are many ascended beings who have lived lifetime over lifetime and have ascended their frequency to a point in which they communicate with us in the angelic realm and are also here to be of service to you. And often they can be assigned to you as well. And then there are many guides. Now, these pods of information or beings you have access to. As you drop then down into lower dimensions, you start to move into the energies and the vibrations of sound and color, and things begin to have more of a solidified understanding. And there's no form yet, but there's the birth of color and the birth of sound and light, and then it begins to create shapes and geometries. You might think of these as like sacred geometry, like the Vesica Pisces and the flower of life and the egg of life and so on. And then it's dropping down even further, and it becomes this holographic projection that starts to begin to drop further and project the soul star of who you are, where your soul star starts to create what we call an orb. And you might sometimes you see these orbs when you take a photograph, a digital picture, and the orb is the source or the sphere of the beginning to individualize who it is you are on the soul level. And it sometimes floats about for a while, or when it leaves physical body after death, it can remain sometimes floating around until it begins to go back to its work and journey and other aspects. And then that sphere eventually begins to spiral, and as it begins to spiral, it begins to connect and create a cord to a developed embryo or a body that begins to grow, and it merges together, and you become born in a vessel. And then as you're in the vessel, the door begins to shut to the remembering of all of those dimensions, all of that energy, your meeting with the Council of Life, your purpose and your record for being here, and all of the lifetimes and the work as the soul of who it is that you are. And you choose courageously to come to earth to play and to have the experience of the good and the bad and the up and the down and all the vibrations and the energy and the beauty of the physical senses of being here on earth. And so then you move ahead and you go through that process. Well, right now what's happening on the planet is that you are evolving as a collective species. So you are evolving from a certain vibrational frequency pattern in which you are holding for a very long period of time on a collective level, and you are increasing the hertz level to a new frequency. And from your perspective, as you look at the global wreckage, perhaps, that is bombarding you based in fear, division, anger, war, polarity, and so on, you might say, well, how could it be that we are evolving if we are continuing to not learn from lessons and have violence and hurt one another, and people are hungry and all of that? But you see, you are, because what's happening is all that is rising up and floating to the surface to be seen and to be healed and to be loved. And it's waking up humanity to their divinity. It is waking up humanity to move into stillness and into reflection, to remember who they are, and to have a greater access to opening the doorway that in a sense was shut, that allows you to tune into those higher frequencies, those higher dimensions, back to source itself. So right now, the doorway is more open, meaning your ability to move into those higher realms and to communicate with us from the angelic realm is more expanded. That's why you might notice there's more and more people doing something like this. There might be channeling, or they are writing automatically, or they are tuning in, or their synchronicity is greater, or they're moving more into the flow of life, right? Because they are beginning to operate at a higher octave. And so some of you might say, yes, but that's all well and good, but I want to operate at a higher octave. I want to channel. I want to talk to the angels. I want to hear them. And so what we want to do today is to support you in doing that by reconnecting you to your highest self. And we want to talk to you about your highest self. So if there's a canopy here of source and love, the original source space, you might call it the 0 point or the void, in which you all originated from. This is the source where all things come from. It is where you can create from in infinite possibilities. It is the source that you tune into with the spiral in order to create instant manifestation and miracles and whatever. It is where creation itself begins. And we can talk about that in another time, but that energy is pulled in through the spiral. The spiral is very sacred to me because the spiral is how you descend into form, how you return things back, and how you have a connection. It is like your doorway. It is your super highway to other dimensions, is to spiral up into other levels. Now, that source energy that we're talking about is where you originated from, and it is based in a love that cannot be explained with words. And often you'll hear or learn about those who had a near-death experience, or perhaps died and returned to life, and they talk about a light, right? Something, and a sense of bliss and peace that they can't put words to because it is beyond the word in the language you have, in any language in human form. And it is that space is where you are all one. You are all the same. There is no difference in who you are. And you came from there. And it is that the next level down from that is a place in which you begin to form some sort of identity, but you're still vibrating at that frequency. You're holding a separateness of form, but it's not the type of form you hold in the vessel of the body. And that is the frequency of the angelic realm. And so right now, when you come to Earth, or in the past, in a sense, when you came, you had from your solar plexus a cord. You might think of it like an umbilical cord that was hooked into your solar plexus, right at your belly button. And this cord links you to that space of love, to that unconditional source, right? And as you come down here into the physical body and the vessel, your connection to that weakens, in which the larger part of who you are, about 80% of you resides and still lives in source. And about 20% of you is operating in the vessel of the body with the consciousness that you know to be who you are. That's why you think that you are what you are here. But a part of you knows you are more than that, because only about 20% is being actually held in the vessel. Now, what's happening is the evolution of species is occurring, and as you are evolving as a collective consciousness and the human race itself is raising into a new frequency, you are opening the space for more of that divinity, in a sense, to come into the cord, into your body, so that you're elevating your vibration, you're elevating your frequency. And so that means when you're talking to the angels and the angelic realm, you're talking actually to a part of yourself that resides at that higher frequency, and that you have access to, with a willingness to surrender, to connect to it. So one of the things to support you in talking and connecting with the angelic realm is, first of all, you need to ground down into the earth so that you can anchor those higher frequencies in. So you always want to ground. And then you must summon us or call upon us. For because in the agreement you have free will, we cannot from the angelic realm interfere with your life unless we are called upon or directly asked. So you must ask. So you may say, I ask you, Archangel Raphael, to come through the cord and the spiral of divine light into and to expand your beautiful vibration of unconditional love into every cell and every organ and every tissue of my body and my being, so that I may feel and know your healing and your love and your vibration, that I may merge with it more. And of course we shall come. Now what happens is that if the cord from where you are to where we are is blocked, meaning cloudy in a sense, which is often when it is filled with perhaps fear or reservation or hesitation to receive that much coding of light, or if there's so much emotional trauma or pain that is suffered in a lifetime, it can make you being able to absorb those higher frequencies more difficult. And that is why so many traditions will say to you, you must meditate, you must be in stillness, you must be present, release distraction, and open up your space and your heart to be in receiving of those frequencies. And when you are present and in meditation and the mind is still, cloudiness starts to move away. Energies and blockages that get in the way of the connection to source begin to dissolve. And there is a more opening for our higher frequencies to merge with yours. So in order to connect or to feel or to channel or to tune in to the angelic realm, you must ground. You must ask us to come. You must practice stillness, presence, meditation. You must work with your pineal gland, and we will do that today and support in activating it so that it is more open to tune into the higher realms. And you must remember that the only thing that's in the way between you and that energy is the willingness to fully open up and completely surrender to it. So what we want to do today is we want to give you a gift. And we're monitoring as there are many beings here today, for I as Archangel Raphael is present, but Michael is very present as he always is. There are many beautiful gods and goddesses and priestesses and ascended beings and masters. Kuan Yin with her compassion and Buddha with his compassion is here. The Divine Mother in her open and beautiful heart is present, as is Jeshua and the miracles of unconditional love. There are beautiful, beautiful beings coming in from all traditions and all different levels of frequency based in love to honor each and every one of you. And each and every one of you listening to this has your own frequency that matches that of a guide, of an angel, of a goddess, and a being of love. And you all carry with you these beings. Some of them are Lemurian, and such as Saint Germain's energy, and some of them are from old ancient civilizations. Some of them carry the vibration of power, such as Sekhmet. Some of them are come as Lakshmi and Ganesh, and they're all here. And each of you vibrate with different octaves, different frequencies that are connected to them. And some of you have an awareness or an inkling of the name of your guide or who it is, and that you've had connections with them before. Some of you are not really that tuned into them, and that's all right. Some of you have many, but you all have a pod of guides and angels and beings of light that are your community, that are a part and have been assigned to you, just like the family has been assigned to you. your birth family and the family that became expanded family and your friends and coworkers. And just like in the human experience, when you change friends or you meet new people or people fall out of your life and new people come in, from the angelic realm and the guides, you have people that energies or vibrations of guiding love that come in to support you through certain times and then pass through. For instance, Merlin may come in for a period of time to support you in moving into the vibration of magic, and then he may just disappear as quickly as he arrived, and some other vibration or energy may come in that just simply works with creativity and color, or perhaps the great librarian or the judge will come in, or perhaps Master Hilarion will come forward and to support you in healing. And so they are a team that come and go, and depending on what course you're on it in a particular moment. But then there is the next tier, such as I, as Archangel Raphael, match the vibration frequency of the vessel Kelly in which I'm speaking through. And each of you has a core team, just like you have a core unit of family that is your pod that's always remaining with you. And all of them today are here and present. And we've done this before, and we are going to continue to do this because we want to connect as many people on the planet as possible to having greater and more access to their angelic pod beings of light, so that they can support the evolution of the consciousness for themselves, for humanity, for the planet Mother Earth, and for the entire galactic universal system. So if you were called today to be here, to be listening to this information, then the being that has been assigned to you at the highest vibration that matches you is here as well. And what we want to do is to support you in reconnecting to them. So we're going to go up to the Council of Light, and we're going to go into the Divine Temple that is a pearlescent. It looks very much like the mother of pearl, and it looks like a spiral or a shell. And inside that is the council, and you're going to go back in there and sit with them. And you're going to see who it is, and they're going to tell you who your main connection or frequency of the highest vibration of your guide is, what they want to say and to you. And then they're going to strengthen the cord between them and you, between the umbilical cord at your belly to them, as that percentage that has been in about 80% that sat with them is going to start to infiltrate or to penetrate, to move into your field and expand, so that you have more access to them, more communication, more intuitive understanding, and most importantly, that it's not so much you having more, but it was already there. It's just we're clearing the pathway to it. But your job and the requirement being asked of you is to surrender to it, not to question it, to when you hear that intuitive thought, or you want to write down that knowing, or you have a gut feeling, not to push it aside, not to move back into linear thinking in the head, but to honor it, to feel it, to operate from there, and to keep dropping more and more into the heart, so that your guiding system isn't the mind, but it is the heart. And when the guiding system of humanity becomes the heart instead of the head, not that the brain and the mind is here to be your servant, not to be the driver of your experience. It is here to be a tool. The brain is a beautiful, strong, mechanistic tool that helps you understand and create and have technology and solutions and to use tools and so on. But it is not to be the driver of the human experience. That's what's gotten you in trouble. It is that the heart is the driver. And so when you're operating from the heart, you're tuning in more to the higher realms, and the higher realms are the operating system and where you make choices. And it's also the operating system that lays you into the framework of divinity and synchronicity, where life moves easily with grace and unfolds with abundance and love and beauty and purity, because you are in the flow and the alignment with that frequency, and that frequency itself is divine because it is you. It's only in the forgetting that you're divine that you drop into the lower frequency, thinking you have to be in control. And when you think you have to be in control, of course things are going to go wrong. So it's like saying to you, I want you right now to be in control of beating your heart. Go ahead and do it. Well, you could try all you want, but it, you might make a mistake. You might forget a beat. But if you surrender to the divine life force, the force that is innate within you, that is beating your heart, that you have nothing to do with in your mind, then it just flows, it works, it operates. And so it's no different. It's that in order to connect to the angelic realm, you have to surrender to life. You have to surrender to the higher frequencies, just like you surrender to the fact that right now your bladder is working on its own, that your cells are working on its own, that your liver and your pancreas and your kidneys and they're all doing what they need to do. You're not using your mind to tell it what to do. And so you can't tell your mind to hear what the angel's saying. You have to surrender to it. And when you surrender to it, then it merges with you and it becomes a part of you. And when it merges with you, it operates with you and you use it as a guiding system. It becomes how you navigate the world, how you move through time and space. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I was thinking of that person. And then they called and I was wanting to do this job. And then I met this person. And then they told me that they did this and then that. And then I wanted to meet somebody and fall in love. And then this person all of a sudden stopped by. And whatever it is, it begins to all flow because you're not forcing or figuring it out. It's not, the mind isn't the operating system. The driving system is the heart. The driving system of the heart comes when you're aligned with the vibration of a higher frequency. So we want now to connect you, all of you that are right here listening to this, to your own personal guide. And we want to form a deeper connection to them. And when we say that, we want to clarify that we're not actually forming a deeper connection. The connection is and has always been there. We're just going to remove some things that may have been in the way for you to have full listening, full cognitive awareness of it. So let's take a nice deep breath. Let's drop down into Mother Earth. And we want to wrap the cord in your being down into her core, because you chose to be on Earth during these times of change. You're here for a reason. You have something to do. Anchor into Mother Earth. Feel her love for you. It is beyond words. Feel Mother Earth sending love up from her core, moving it through your body. And now as you begin to breathe, we want you to feel the breath moving in and out on the belly button. This is where you have a cord. It's etheric. You can't see it. If you're sensitive to energy, you might feel it. And this cord is a line of communication that connects you to your personal angel, personal guide, personal master that you chose to align with for this lifetime, who is here guiding, loving, and supporting you. Now they're all coming in. Now we have hundreds coming in, so it's going to take a moment. Just keep placing your hand and feeling your belly button as everyone is arriving. And as they arrive, we want you to know that they are dropping down. Beautiful ball of light out of their heart and moving it down and spiraling it from the 12th dimension through the 11th, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. And as they are coming in, we want you to feel like a cord that is expanding on your belly button. As they are widening the space between you and them. And as they are doing this, we want you to imagine that there is a spiral now that is tiny at the belly button. And as it begins to swirl, we want you to see it swirling and turning as it's moving up the dimensions. It keeps moving up the dimensions and up and up and up until it connects now with your guide, with your angel, feeling a strong connection with them. Feel your energy moving now up the spiral as you are spiraling up 1, 2, up 3, 4, up 5, 6, keep going up 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now at 12, you're going to get out and start to look around. And standing right in front of you is your guide. There they are. They're saying hello. They're so happy to see you. They love you so, so very much. They put out their hand and ask you to hold their hand and go with them for a walk. As you feel your hand in theirs, they're like an old friend that you've known for eternity. And as you all are connecting with your beautiful guides, they are so delighted and so happy to see you. And they're all moving with you now as you hold hands. You're going down a beautiful path filled with flowers and butterflies. The sun is shining and you see the waterfalls and the birds. And as you walk down the path, you can see out in the distance a beautiful temple. It is made of the mother of pearl and it is like a beautiful spiraled shell, and it is glistening like crystals and light. And as you walk with your guide, you become closer to it, and you see as you get closer to it how large this temple is. And you are being granted permission now to walk up its grand stairs. As you hold the hand of your beautiful angelic guide of pure love, you walk up the stairs, and 2 very beautiful beings stand on either side, guarding this golden door into the mother of pearl temple. And they nod as they give you permission to enter. And as you move in the temple and you enter, make room for all of you, but every one of you is coming in with your guide. And this big, beautiful round table is in the center of this grand, majestic hall. We'll move toward it and find a place to sit as your angelic, beautiful guide and master sit with you. And as you sit, the great Grand Master comes in with a big stack of papers, and he begins to put one in front of you. And each of you receive this paper as it slides across the table in front of you, and you're still sitting next to your guide. I want you to look down at it. And it shows you who your guide is, what their name is. We want you to read it now. There is the main guide, and then there are subcategories. And every time you make out the name of one, and you can see it, they begin to arrive. And as they are all arriving now, you know who they are. You're going to go into a private room with them. You can get up from your chair now. You may have one or two or three or five with you or more. And you're going to walk as a group together down a beautiful golden corridor to a room that has your name on the door. And as you open the door, you move into this room, and it is round. And there are cushions on the floor for you and each of your guides and angels. And you're going to sit down now together. Some of them have big robes, some wings. Some have tools or symbols they carry with them, wands. Some have ankh symbols. Some have animal signals and feathers, roses. Some have a beautiful smell or flame. They're all sitting with you. Now you're going to have some time to tell them what it is you need from them. Tell them everything you want to tell them and share. And ask them to support you, to guide you, and to come home with you so that you can feel and know them more. So sit now for a moment and reconnect and acquaint yourself with them. Now you have a better understanding of who they are. Invite them to come home with you back to earth, to be present, to be visible, to be heard, so that they may support and guide you. When you are ready, you can get up off your cushion, as will they, and open the door as you head down this beautiful gold corridor, through the main room and down the stairs. As they walk with you together, you walk down and through this path, leading you back to this place at the top of the spiral. And as you stand there, you hold hands together in a circle, and you invite them into your sphere, into your energetic field, to be stronger, clearer, and more present with you. And they come in, they step in now into your sphere of orb of light. And they bring with them the highest frequency of love, purity, bliss, peace, wisdom, joy, playfulness, compassion, understanding, knowing, magic. And now you can get on the spiral at the very top of the 12th dimension, and you can begin to ride it down like a beautiful slide, coming down the spiral 11, 10, 9, through the 8th and 7th dimension of color and sound and frequency, through the vibration of geometry and pattern, down into the unity consciousness of 5, through and expanding through the 4th, breaking through and releasing any cloudy cords of emotional debris as they clear that out, moving down into the 3D as they attach themselves now with their love to your belly button. Expanding their field now expands out into your field, into the 3rd dimension, and part of their frequency drops down into 2 and 1D, into the core, anchoring it into the earth, into the earth's core, as we have now just expanded your arc field to hold and encompass a larger and higher frequency of the divine guides that have been assigned and are a part of who you are, based in pure love. And so it is. We are sending you all of our love, many blessings, and good day.
Good day.
All right. Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for joining today and connecting with the angels and the guides. And that was wonderful. So grateful for all of you being here. And I appreciate it. I won't be here next Sunday, but I'll let you know what the plan is, if maybe we'll have a guest speaker. And I encourage you to do our Starseed Masterclass, because it is going to be amazing. And we need all the people we can working on this vibration, doing old ceremonial work, working with the guides, the masters, the Lemurians, the ancient Egyptians, and the Atlanteans, to take this frequency in our consciousness to the next level. And that is my mission. And I hope you will join me. So look for that email. Thank you for all of your beautiful and generous donations. And this is just a nice exchange of energy. I love you. I wish you the best. And I'll see you, if not next week, maybe we'll jump on next week for half an hour or something. I'll let you know. And otherwise, I'll be connecting with all of you the following week. All right? Don't get caught in the drama, guys, this week. A lot of drama going on the planet. Don't tune into that. Stay in the light, okay? Mwah.